Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. I'm just already laughing at that. Quinnen to win it?
Quinn it to win it, baby. Sorry, my mic's not on. Quinn it to win it. You got to be Quinn it to win it.
Why can't we dare to dream? Literally everyone I've talked to today, from Adam Hoge to Gary Ross to, we haven't talked about this yet, Kevin. Maybe Quinnen Williams wants to be a Bear. Hoge.
Q school, baby.
I just love that you've talked to Gary Ross today.
I talk to Gary Ross every day. I do. Literally every day.
I think we should start inviting Gary to our morning meetings.
He says it just seems silly to even discuss because he thinks the Jets are going to want multiple firsts and they're going to franchise tag him.
I was kidding, but now Gary should be in our morning meetings to shoot down ideas like this. I agree.
No, he should not, because Quinnen Williams doesn't have a contract, because it's May the whatever it is.
He does have a contract. He's under contract for this year.
He doesn't have his new contract. Why does everybody have to live in reality? It's just not. It's not fun to live in reality. Look, the guy has not gotten his contract extension. The Jets don't want to pay him the $25 to $30 million that he wants. Right?
Wait, time out. Can that just be Mark Carman's slogan in life? It's not fun to live in reality. Mark
that's
Carman.
good. I like that.
That's pretty good. We should make a graphic or something.
Okay.
Real quick, let's just say hello.
Go ahead.
Let's say hello. Hi, I'm Adam. I have a Mark Carman problem. Mark Carman's next to me. Kevin Kaduk's here, sitting in with us today.
Hi,
so
Kevin.
for once, he actually went straight into Bears talk, and you preempted it.
Well, I wanted to introduce you.
I appreciate it.
Because you're not usually sitting here with us.
That's
and
true.
We're
I
happy
do
to have
appreciate
you
that.
here. So Kevin Kaduk is here with us today. And, so Carm saw the big news yesterday, which is just a classic May 15th, now 16th story of a player changing something in his social media profile. And all 31 other teams having a show like this, where I literally did a search today on Quinnen Williams trades. There's like 7,000 YouTube videos already. One from the Vikings, one from the Lions, one from every team.
Yeah, we're too good for that.
Should X team trade for Quinnen Williams, who, by the way, won't be traded?
You're probably right that he will not be traded. But can we at least make an offer? Why can't we make an offer? You're probably not going to get when you were 22 walking into the bar at Wisconsin before you met your beautiful wife, you probably weren't going to walk out with the number one seat of that bar, but do you go and say hello? I think you do. I think you do.
Bad assumption. You don't know 22-year-old Adam Hoge.
First of all,
you want to confirm
was at my house party hanging out.
Okay, forget about you. I wasn't going to get the number one seat at any Iowa Hawkeye bar. Should I have gone? Did I go up and try my best to get Molly Harmon to fall in love with me? Yeah, I did. Over and over and over again. And she ended up marrying some very rich guy who's got a plane and made great decisions, and they have a lovely family, and I'm hanging out with you guys. But I tried. I made the effort.
On a good night, you were going home with a mid-major is what you're saying.
No, I'm not going to mid-major the KP. She was a superstar in her own right. But when I was, that's true. She wasn't the one. She wasn't the Hawkeye 1 seed. She wasn't.
Do you think she's watching this right now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
She could be watching. Probably unlikely, but we're still friends to this day.
Please hit the like.
Who's Fairleigh Dickinson in this whole scenario? That's just what I want to know.
There's actually probably a woman named Fairleigh Dickinson at Iowa City back in the day.
Just how
At least someone who had that nickname.
I'm uncomfortable now, but let's just say that Iowa City was a great time. Do you make an offer for Quinnen Williams? Make an offer.
Okay, so what's your offer? What's your offer?
My offer is one of our number one picks.
Nope.
next year, one of them,
Okay.
and probably our own. And I'm betting on us over Carolina. Although
Hi, this is Joe Douglas. You can go F yourself.
I just started. I would think that they would want both of our number ones.
Yeah, I want the Panthers one. Sorry.
Okay,
Bye.
that's no problem. No problem. You can have the Carolina pick.
Wow, you're a terrible negotiator. Also, bye.
I'm giving him one number one next year and a third and a fifth the following year. Plus, you can have Chase Claypool. You done? You in?
But the Jets are in a position right now where they're trying to win now.
You
The
need
Bears are trying to win 2 or 3
Claypool?
years down the road. Like, in what world does this make sense?
You sounded like one of those callers that used to call in the Chris Ranji's White Sox postgame shows. You can have Gordon Beckham.
I just gave you one of our number ones. Nobody wants to give that up. Do you want to give up a number one next year? Would you give up a number one for Quinnen Williams?
No.
Right. So I just went
So
further.
why do you want to?
Because he fulfills a position of
They
enormous
just drafted
need.
2 tackles.
Oh, come on.
So you want to pay? You want to bring in another tackle, pay that guy over $25 million, and give up a first-round pick?
Dude, Hoge, as Christian Shanafelt just fired me.
Thank you, Dave Mann. This team is not a defensive tackle away from contending.
I'm not saying they are. I'm
Just
saying
like
you need
they
the position.
weren't Khalil Mack away from winning the Super Bowl when they traded everything for him.
You just invested 3 picks on a defensive tackle. You're going to need to pay an edge rusher at some point.
Yeah.
You're going to give $25 to $30 million plus draft capital to get Quinnen Williams for a team, again, that is not a DT away from contending right now.
Let me ask
it doesn't make sense.
Let me ask you something. Is Quinnen Williams top 3 elite defensive tackle in his prime?
Sure. And he's young.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Does having a player like that transform your defense?
It helps a lot. Yes.
There's a huge impact, right?
Yeah. Yep. Just like Khalil Mack was a missing piece on the defense for the Bears in 2018. And how many playoff games did they win? But this is why I'm being serious right now.
This is the
because this is your problem. You're making the Ryan Pace mistake.
Right.
Because you're assuming, and by the way, before I say this out loud, I believe in Justin Fields, but you're assuming that you have the quarterback. And the reality is, back to reality world, we do not know that for sure. And if you trade for Quinnen Williams and you're wrong about the quarterback, you just went down the same hole they did last time. You cannot make that move until you know you have your offense, you know you have your quarterback. And then you can say, we're this player away on defense from being able to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It just doesn't, there's no logic
What
to
about
it
like
now.
what Ryan Poles has done in these first, year and a half?
Yeah.
Tells you that he's going to make this move.
I don't think that the Bears are going. First of all, I don't think the Jets are not to impale the conversation.
Right.
I don't think the Jets are trading him, and I don't think the Bears would do it. However, I would like to live, as I started the show, in the hypothetical world of what would you be willing to give up if the Jets were willing to do it. Let's just do the exercise to do the exercise. This is what GMs do all day long.
I'm just not comfortable giving up anything at this point in the Bears process.
It's too soon.
So what's your offer? Literally, would you give up a second round pick?
Sure.
Here's my real offer.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll be Ryan Poles now.
Yeah.
Calling Joe Douglas.
Yeah.
You can be Joe Douglas.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah.
You have a Quinnen Williams problem. You got to figure out with your cap. You have this big quarterback now.
Yeah.
And so how does a third rounder sound for Carl Lawson? I'm being serious.
Yeah.
You need an edge rusher. Now that's a realistic trade that actually could fit what they need right now.
Okay.
And by the way, I have no idea on the compensation there off the top of my head. I just threw out the third round
Lawson.
pick. Sounds about right. But he was coming off an injury, came back. He played all 17 games last year. I think he had over 7 sacks, if not more. Oh, hey, I looked this up earlier. It's right in front of my face. 7 sacks last year. Again, was able to play in all 17 games after blowing out his Achilles in 2021.
So you're letting them pay Quinnen Williams easier, basically.
I'm not denying they have a Quinnen Williams problem. There does need to be some type of movement to make this contract happen.
Right.
Trading for Carl Lawson makes more sense, and for where the Bears are now, and the compensation you'd have to give up, whatever that ends up being, and also is more realistic in the end goal for the Jets, which is I don't think they let Quinnen Williams walk out that building.
Okay. By the way, this exercise just got us to a great potential option for the Bears, even though Carl Lawson, according to Gary in the chat, who just said it was a great idea, but then followed up with Lawson was rumored to be cut. So maybe you wait for that to happen.
Well, they might have to do that eventually.
Right. So
it might not even be a third that you have to go. I don't know right now.
Henceforth, we just got to a potential solid resolution for the Bears that excites me. Get Carl Lawson in here. Let's go. But
he's
point Carm. And you said you'd give up a sec. What would you give up? Just answer the question. What would you give up? Well, it was a good exercise and we got somewhere.
It is a good exercise.
And what would you give up, Hoge?
Don't say Hoge like that.
Yeah, I am going to say it like that because this is not. It's like everyone's acting like we're in like some court that we can't have like a conversation that might not happen. Most of the stuff's not going to happen. Who cares? My question is, what would you give up to get Quinnen Williams if they were to trade him? That's the simple. I'm not. And to Doug Van Dorn, this is Carmen Collins' biggest take. I'm just doing an exercise. What would you give up for him? What would be worth for you?
What would I give up for
And
him?
if you want to say that giving up a first-round pick is a clown take, I okay, maybe. But by the way, you are not the Panthers are not going to be the bottom 3 team in the league, and hopefully the Bears are going. Everyone thinks the Bears are going to win somewhere between 7 and 10 games. You are not pairing the Bears pick and the Panthers pick to get the number 1 pick and get Caleb Williams if Justin Fields sucks. Those two are you are not going to have enough to move up for what will be a generational Peyton Manning level quarterback. You're not getting
whoever has that spot is not going to trade.
Is not trading.
Probably.
Is not so let's not act like one
Drake
of those.
May is more realistic.
Yeah, right. You're not getting that dude. Yeah. Even if you hold on to it. I'm talking about. So what would you give up?
No first round picks.
Okay.
After that, I'm not denying Quinnen Williams is great. But also,
what you're willing to give up is not going to get Quinnen Williams.
Right. So, but our best offer is
bad process, Carm. You just used a second-round pick and basically another second-round pick, the first pick in the third round.
They'll be rotational
for
guys
2
with them.
defensive tackles.
They'll be rotational dudes.
That's not enough, man. Second-round picks need to be starters if you're building a Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
Just like Cole Kmet's a starter, just like Jalen Johnson's a starter, they at least need to be that level of player. They can't be rotational defensive tackles.
Hold on. You think that Ryan Poles thinks that both of those dudes are going to play 62% of the snaps?
Yep.
Something like that?
I think, yes. I think at least one of them needs to be a really good player.
Yeah, well, sure.
A long-term starter. One of those two players better get a long-term contract. Otherwise, those were failed draft picks.
Agreed. But you have two defensive tackles. I mean, if you put Quinnen Williams in the middle of that defense, you know how much easier the job gets for Dexter. Do you know how much easier it gets for Pickens? Do you know how much easier it gets for everybody? They are so much more likely to have the success and get the contract that you're talking about if you give them a little help around them. If you say, Gervon, go out there and be dominant alongside Zach Pickens or Justin Jones and Dominique Robinson, that is a tall ask. And they know this.
Yeah, and let me address what Moneyman's saying. Passing up better players is bad process. I'm not denying that Quinnen Williams is better and that can improve your defense. The good teams, good front offices see into the future. All 31 teams in the league have been aware of this Quinnen Williams situation since last season ended, probably even before that. Okay, so you do your homework on who's available, on if Quinnen Williams is a realistic option before you draft 2 defensive tackles. The fact that they drafted 2 defensive tackles is evidence enough that they know that that's not what's happening here. They wouldn't have done that if they knew Quinnen Williams was a realistic option, whether it was today or the last week of August on Labor Day or in Labor Day weekend, like when they traded for Khalil Mack. It's just not happening.
Do you think that Ryan Poles has a good sense of when he is going to push his chips in the middle of the table?
Great question. Now that's a good question.
I do.
And when
I don't know if it's a specific date,
right?
But like this year's about making sure you have the quarterback, and then I think you make that push probably next off.
Everything that is coming out of his mouth right now is very logic grounded, but also upping the ante based. Justin is going to be with the same offensive coordinator for the second straight year. Justin has more talent around him now. Like, Poles is very clear. You should be able to make quicker decisions as you progress into your third season. I mean, he is not backing off in the least that the offense should take a major step forward this year. And if it doesn't, then
there's problems.
Then there's a problem.
I like the fact that Chicago has GMs right now that are being patient because the Blackhawks are in the same situation. Connor Bedard's coming to the building, and there's already a big faction of Blackhawks fans coming into the CHGO Blackhawks show every day saying, all right, let's go out and get Connor Bedard as much help as you can. Kyle Davidson is out there saying, look, we've got the number one pick, but this isn't changing the way we're doing things. This isn't changing the farm system that we're building, the prospects that we're building on. This is not about winning in 2023/24. It's about winning for the next decade after that.
Right.
And I think that, obviously that's what Poles is going for, but at some point it is an interesting thing. When is that? But that moment when you do go all in.
Well, and that's why I brought up the quarterback part of it.
Right.
Is you have to maintain financial and draft capital flexibility basically until the point you're all in. And right now it's stupid to go all in unless you have that quarterback. And I would actually even use an example of a team that actually did win the Super Bowl as an example of holy shit, that was risky and you're lucky it worked out. And that would be the Rams going all in on Matthew Stafford a few years ago. Because you now see the Rams, who just got 2 primetime games, completely fell apart, and they still have a few superstars on that team like Aaron Donald, and they weren't that far away from losing that game to the Bengals.
Nope, right.
And that would have been a complete disaster. So even in that situation, saying F them picks all the way to the end, that was incredibly risky. So if you're the Bears, yes, there will be a point where you start saying, okay, we can part with one of these 2 first-round picks because we have that. I mean, that's why some people are still criticizing the Texans for what they did in the draft. Because, you had 2 first-round picks, so you traded one of them next year to make sure you got your quarterback and Will Anderson. But are you really that close to say you don't need that flexibility that you just lost by doing that next year? And this was the problem the Bears made. And literally we talked about this when the trade happened for Khalil Mack. This was double downing on Mitch Trubisky. You were all in on the dude when you made the move for Khalil Mack. You couldn't be wrong. And it's not that the Khalil Mack trade necessarily didn't work out. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it's really that you didn't have the quarterback. And that's where we all think Justin Fields is going to be good. We all think he's going to take that next step. But until you know for sure, until you have that Jalen Hurts assurance that the Eagles just got, it's too risky right now. It just doesn't make sense.
How many non-quarterbacks out there do you think are worth abandoning or speeding up a plan? We're sitting here. We don't think Quinnen Williams is that guy. Is there a non-quarterback out there that would be available? Let's say someone out there is not happy with their team and does something similar with what Quinnen Williams is doing right now. Is there any non-quarterback you would say right now that the Bears would say you could trade one of those next picks?
Another very good question.
So basically, any player out there right now that you'd be willing to part with.
Literally anyone that you would give up major draft capital to help you right now.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
non-quarterback.
For the record, Kevin, they did that for Chase Claypool. They gave up a second-round draft pick for a wide receiver because they did not believe in the wide receiver market. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it. I don't want to kick it into the dirt a zillion times, but would Ryan Poles do that again?
A couple people in the chat saying Justin Jefferson.
That's a good one.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah. And come on. Quinnen Williams is on that level. He is. He's just, but you guys want to focus on offense, and that's fine. I get it.
Because you have to figure that part out first.
But okay, but so
you should know that as a Bears fan. How many freaking decades have we been through?
Yeah, but okay, so
well, great defense. Figure that part out. But now what?
I think where we're differing just a little bit on that, and I agree with 98% of your philosophy. However, I would also just say that, I think that they know.
Micah Parsons is a good.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that I think you know
back all over again.
Oh, right.
Really.
If you're gonna say Micah Parsons,
yeah.
Quinnen Williams is saying is that.
I'm gonna touch the stove again, okay? Yeah. You told me the stove is on. I'm gonna touch it anyway.
Look,
that's what my 2-year-old does.
I would make a very large bet that Justin Fields is going to get a second contract with the Bears and he is going to be their quarterback. I would not make a very large bet saying that I know that he's going to be a multiple Pro Bowl top of the food chain QB, but I would bet on his floor at being middle of the road and that he's going to be here. So that part of it just feels a lot less risky to me. I don't think the Bears are going to be looking for a quarterback after this year. And neither do you.
So what you're saying, though, is, but that doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Because we also sit here and we criticize the Giants for doing exactly what you just said with Daniel Jones. Which is the floor's there, so let's pay him. Well, $40 million a year.
Right. So that's the part that would suck, that if he's in the middle, it's are they going to give him the money that they're going to have to give him, $40 Daniel Jones $1 million, where you really are just basically saying that I don't want to go to the bottom and I'll take this middle of the road guy. But those are really hard questions. That's a very tough choice. Because if you don't do that, then okay, I'm going to bring in my guy who I love, Gardner Minshew, or someone of that ilk, and then draft someone and try to develop again.
You do love Gardner Minshew.
I do.
Do. That's your guy. You know why he loves Gardner Minshew? Because he interviewed him once. Don't. Was that inaccurate?
Don't minimize. No, yeah.
You guys had a nice conversation at the Super Bowl. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're yes, I fell in love with him because I had a great conversation with him and we bonded. But also, Gardner Minshew put up great numbers in Jacksonville on a horrible Jaguars team.
Those were fun times.
So Rafal Wilk had a good point in the comments there, saying it's terrible timing for the hypothetical. Maybe you make this trade before the draft. Would you have traded the 9th pick, Carm?
Ooh. Good one
for Quinnen Williams.
Well, let's think about that. Let's think about that one. As it turned out, you ended up trading the 9th pick for a 4th-round draft pick, and you drafted Darnell Wright. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have Quinnen Williams? I would rather have Quinnen Williams. I don't think that's close.
So then the offensive line is still a question mark.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll go get a right tackle.
Yes, but also,
come on,
that would not have been enough. Just the 9th pick.
Sure.
It wouldn't have been. That's
agreed. Agreed. It wouldn't have been.
But yes, if it was just the 9th pick, yes, I would probably do that.
But
it's also Quinnen Williams plus a giant-ass contract.
Great. Right. We have the money.
Yes, until you don't, which is, again, my point. But you better know who your quarterback is. Or you better have that money slotted for the quarterback you're going to have to pay. Whether that's Fields or somebody else. This isn't monopoly money, man.
It is. It's the NFL salary cap. They get creative. They'll figure it out.
You get creative until you have to spend a whole year digging out of a giant hole.
This actually ended up being a good conversation.
It was.
We got there.
No one's debating that part.
All right. Well, the chat.
That's what I think sometimes people don't understand about
the chat
Carm.
hates us every day. They ignore the chat. We love all you guys in the chat, but they hate the chat.
Carm is kind of like a jam band, right? He starts out, you're not sure where it's going.
Carm is fish.
He's fish. It hits the crescendo, and you make your way out. that what fish looks
That's
like?
your fish dance?
Yes. Fish came to the University of Iowa, the Union. Were you there in 92, Lawrence?
No, I was not.
Okay.
What happened?
Fish came to they literally played at the Union like for free. And like
They played at UW's Union too.
Yeah, and I was all my those type of Iowa City friends they were all going like, Carmen, you want to go? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stay home and watch Bulls Pistons. Complete idiot. They all came back. They were like, bounce around the room was sweet, man.
Speaking of the Bulls, we were going to send some good vibes. The Bulls
we are.
I almost wore my Derrick Rose jersey today, which I still own. I couldn't find it.
Dude, I was in Marshall's last night.
Would you have gone T-shirt underneath or bare arms? Like the Peck style.
Yeah, I can't rock. I got the Peck shorts on today though. I got that rolling. I didn't go sandals.
We had someone commenting on the CHGO White Sox podcast. He's from Asia, and he said that us wearing shorts and letting people see the bottom of the feet is an insult to his culture.
Yes.
So he doesn't. He likes it when we're on Zoom because he considers that more professional than the living room setup here.
Zach Best, fan-sided, former boss. He'd like scream at you. You cannot put the bottom of your shoes on there. It's an insult.
Like the time you got
So
dog
what
shit.
am I
at the
supposed to do? There's.
What do you mean? You're supposed to do exactly what I'm doing right now.
No, we're supposed to do remote shows, not just
I
stay
am
at
doing
home
what
my
you're
whole
doing,
life.
but I'm at a different angle. So my
Do the other one.
shoe
Do the other one.
shows.
Flip it.
No, I have a right hip problem. I've been being
that's-
worked
well,
on at the
but-
chiropractor every single day.
I wonder if I could sell. We could sell ad space on the bottom of our shoes.
Sure.
What do you think?
Well,
Yeah,
fit a nice ad right
we're in
there.
America. This is not. It's not about necessarily a cultural thing. It's also we're trying to respect the audience, but it's fine.
It is a little bit of a stretch for us to worry about every single. This show does go out on the internet to at literally any country that has YouTube. I don't know how many like.
I mean, I'm with Ibsen. Why do you hate Korea? It's messed up that you would just be just.
Hates Korea.
Do you think Kim Jong Un is watching Peck and Big Dave every?
Probably he's a big
Because
basketball guy.
He's a
should be.
diehard.
He
I
should
can see
be.
him jiving with those guys.
Shout out to Matt Peck, who did not show up for softball last night. We missed you, Peck, and Sean.
Bring out hold on. Let's
Yeah.
wrap a bow on the Bulls thing here.
Okay. So, what time is the lottery tonight?
Starts at 7.
Starts at 7.
We're going to be live. CHO Bulls will be live.
We listen to Peck and Big Dave and the GOAT.
careful the way you're.
What are you doing?
Massage.
I am rubbing the one balloon that's crumpled.
That's what she said.
I am
Got a little bit of left. A little bit of luck left in there.
just
Now
give
this
it a
is-
rub. Give it a
this is
rub.
now an
Come on.
ASMR
Get the Bulls
podcast.
Wembanyama. Changes everything. We need Wembanyama. What's the percentage
I
chance?
don't think the weight
1.7%.
is needed anymore on this thing.
That thing is
Actually,
flaccid.
it's still sitting
It's hanging around.
sort of upright.
It's hanging around. This
Bulls. Make its way to
Is
the
this
Bulls.
where we do a Roman ad? No, actually, it's a FOCO ad because you can get fitted out in the best sports gear around with hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's spring and baseball season. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. We got a lot of set decorations here, and FOCO hooked us up with a bunch of them, donating them for our set, and so we would love for you to go show them some love back. Check out FOCO.com. Click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, you can use the promo code CHGO for 10% off.
We love you, FOCO. And hey, TV watchers out there, get yourself the Fubo TV. 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, news. You can stream live TV from any device. The price is right. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Sign up, start watching. You also get a 7-day free trial so you can check it out. You can see how sweet it is. If you don't like it, of course, you don't have to go any further. You've got all sorts of opportunities on Fubo TV, including watching the Cubs on Marquee, watching the White Sox on NBC Sports Chicago. Do all of that. And also use the link in the description to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, they got it all. Fubo TV. Let's go Nuggets. please.
DNVR, baby.
Dude, I love Fubo. Started using it.
Yeah.
It's got the thing where you can have the two channels on. YouTube TV doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Multi-screen?
YouTube TV does not have marquee.
YouTube
So now I'm able to watch the Cubs, and last night I was watching the Cubs and the Kraken Stars game at the same time.
Yeah.
It was nice.
The Kraken.
YouTube TV is also
Kraken are dead.
$112 a
Kraken.
month now. YouTube TV.
YouTube TV got expensive.
It's
They
expensive,
keep raising
man.
the price, and you can't get marquee.
Right.
With Fubo, you can't get marquee and NBC Sports Chicago. So if you're a Chicago sports fan, it's really your only option for streaming.
I always like how you turn it on and like it kind of knows what you want to watch.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy, but at the same time awesome because like, oh yeah, that is what I want to watch. Thank you.
It is showing me a little bit too much soccer. It has not learned that I
Ooh.
don't want to watch any soccer.
Yeah, mine has figured that out.
Speaking of that, how does the person who emailed me or the company that emailed me about my car yesterday and wanting to know if I sold it, want to sell it, knows exactly how many miles my car has? How the hell do you know that? Like,
Wait, you sold your car?
I know.
you did?
I've been driving around in this 2014 Honda Accord that I'll probably drive around for another 5 years, but I'm always thinking about upgrading. And so then I was clicking through the upgrade, it asked me how many miles I have on the car, and I put I want like 70,000. It's like, and then it popped right back. It says here that you got 78,042. I'm like, I probably do, mother. I'm like, how do you know?
Estimate, or was
how
it
do
actually,
you know?
Then why'd they ask? if
Yeah,
they already
like,
knew.
I'm like, what else do you know?
Okay.
Carm, you were picking your nose in your car last Thursday, driving down the Edens. Like,
No,
Jesus,
no
relax.
pick. It was a scratch.
By the way, I for the first time today got off at Cicero to try to. Bad idea. We'll never do that again. To do the jog around, so you miss the merge with the Kennedy construction, and then I was driving.
You got back on?
No, I was driving 27 miles an hour, and one of those stupid flash things went off.
Oh,
The park 25 mile.
Oh.
Do they really? Is that?
yeah.
Was that at me? Or there was 3 other cars around me, so I don't know if it was at me or not.
Where was this?
But if I got one of those speeding tickets
For going 2 over?
for going 2 over in a 25, where it says park, and literally there's no park there. There's nothing but concrete.
You'll be all right. You'll be okay.
I don't know.
If you really were going 27 to
Well,
25,
isn't there like a buffer?
it's 6 miles an hour.
Okay, then it wasn't me. Then it must have been getting somebody. I was gonna lose my
If you
mind.
really were doing 27
I
to
really
25.
was. I looked at I saw the flash and I go, oh shit, how fast am I going? I looked right at my speedometer and I said and it said 27.
You'll be okay. You'll be all right.
And if not,
Of course, I had the parking permit on my rental car that when my other car was getting fixed, and the city just still ticketed me. I'm like, now you're.
yeah, there's some
Brandon
sketchy
Johnson, you're invited to come on the show, and Hoge yelled at me because I wrote at them yesterday on the day that he was inaugurated and the whole thing.
Well, so did Kevin.
So did Kevin.
And
No, he didn't.
I did.
Yeah, Kevin.
No,
I
I
think we all
definitely
did.
Okay,
What
great.
happened?
Great.
Terrible idea.
When
No,
he
it wasn't
emailed the
Kevin.
mayor's office on the day of the inauguration asking them to come on CHGO,
He was just down the street getting
I get
inaugurated.
nuts.
He could have knocked us. He could have
First
knocked
of
it out
all,
on the way
first
home.
of all, I can't believe what you just said. We are more important than the inauguration. The way you just impaled this company, and everybody here is just disgusting. And you should apologize profusely right now. Second of all, if he doesn't respond, I'll just write him again. Brandon, quit nickel and diming the citizens of this city. It's
Hey,
not
Lawrence,
your fault.
Can
Let's
you put
stop
Dave
that.
Mann's question up there? Dave Mann says, Kevin, wanting to plan for tailgate. Any ideas, time frame
What's that?
on which games we'll have tailgate meetups for? I know schedule just came out, but with kids' activities as far out in advance is ideal. Can't say for certain, but I think it's pretty. If it's a warm weather game,
what you're
we're
laughing. You
probably
have a
going to be
date,
out
man?
there, right, Lawrence?
What's that?
Lawrence's reaction to Kevin asking to put the comment up.
I
like
knew
it?
it was coming, but I
just goes,
had
"Ugh."
just put up another graphic, so I was just annoyed.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's all good.
No, we'll definitely be out there for Green Bay. That's a good assumption. Denver, I mean, that's going to be a great all-city tailgate. But as things start to get a little colder, then it becomes a little bit more up in the air.
Here's the
So,
headline. We got awesome plans for the season.
Yeah.
We're still finalizing them because it's still May, and we're going to hook you guys up. Diehards are going to have the discount. We're going to have merch ready to go, and it's going to be an outstanding season as the Bears go 17-0. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
Yeah. All right. Bears signed 3 draft picks yesterday. This is more just like kind of knocking off some business items here. But Darnell Wright signed. Always good to have your first-round pick signed so you don't have to deal with that drama. Zach Pickens also signed. Tyler Scott signed. 7 out of the 10 picks now are locked up with their contracts, which is always good. Now, the biggest thing I want to stress here is that really this is not something to worry about. It's nice to have the contract signed with the draft picks. Every once in a while you get that rare exception like Roquan Smith where he actually misses a couple weeks of training camp. Even in those situations, though, it never gets to the point where we're talking about a guy missing games anymore. So really not something to worry about. However, I did want to highlight something from our guy PFF Brad Spielberger, who's of course been on the show a bunch. And he did point out, and this happened last year with Jaquan Brisker, who I think it went all the way up to the start of training camp before he got signed. Brad said the only one of these that could be bumpy is Gervon Dexter at 53 overall, but I don't think it will. And he points out how Jaquan Brisker at number 48 overall took a while for a few reasons, but in part tied to the guarantees in the third year. The 47th pick was the last pick that got year 3 guarantees. So basically the structure of these contracts, we're at the point where first rounders get fully guaranteed deals through year 4. And then once you get in the second round, you start to get pick by pick, a little bit less guarantees start coming off. And what Brad was highlighting was last year that cutoff was at 47. The 47th pick got full guarantees through year 3. Jaquan Brisker was the first one at 48 who didn't get all that.
Wow.
And that's why that took a while, because he was literally the first pick where, okay, that dropped off. So Gervon Dexter being at 53 overall, that's where it's just sort of in that range. Where's that moving target? And people like Brad who do such a good job of following this stuff way more than we do on a daily basis, they'll keep an eye on that. But, again, overall, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Always good to have your first-round pick locked up. Zach Pickens locked up. But don't be surprised if Gervon Dexter takes a little bit more.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it kind of ties into what Brodalicious is putting in the comment trainer. Was anyone watch the newest 1920 football drive video today? It makes me want Hard Knocks even more. And I'm perhaps, again, going slightly a bridge too far here, but they really love Gervon Dexter in there, and they need Gervon Dexter. So does he have enough leverage to get the contract, the money that you're talking about for that third year? I think he does. I mean, look at where they're at. They need that dude.
Yeah, but the reality is it's almost becomes more of just like an accounting thing where it's like, where's the cutoff with the picks? And if that cutoff is 48, then he's not going to
get it. Is it always a clean cutoff? And it's...
I don't know. It's not like I sit there and analyze all the... That's why Brad's the best at this stuff. And so we'll see. There's way more to worry about. Bears on Kauai checking in. I don't know if he's hanging out with Nick right now. But
he is not, but he's giving us $19.99 to tell us this. So
okay, let's appreciate $19.99 super chat here. Enjoyed watching Nick's Kauai adventures on Instagram. Understand he was busy showing his lady friend a good time. Oh, well, he's got my number on Insta if the next vacationer wants to grab CHGO Bears on Kauai.
Bad job by Nick.
Bears on Kauai, like I love Nick. Nick's a great guy. And also, Nick sucks for not having seen you out there. When I get out there, Bears on Kauai, we're having all the cockies. We're hanging out, man. You're doing life right. I want to meet you. And if Hoge goes,
at least a Starbucks meetup.
I mean, what the hell, Nick? I mean,
no, it's Kauai Beer Company.
Yeah.
You had to, if Nick, first off, Nick comes back and tells me he didn't go to Kauai Beer Company, that's a fail to begin with. And then it's just a perfect meetup for our guy Bears on Kauai. That's a huge disappointment.
That's an F.
Wow.
Kev, this one's for you from Patrick Simmons.
How can I work for you?
How can I work for you? You don't have to pay me.
I like that.
Figure out
that was my
what
pitch.
I need done, right? Lawrence?
That was Carm's pitch. That's good.
Put me on the spot here. Got a lot of people who want to work for free here. I have to figure out a big project, I guess.
Patrick, know your value. I know you want to get your foot in the door, but, you know.
If anybody wants to handle the Bears 100 board next year, you could do that. I'll offer that up.
There we go.
How about Brandon with this beautiful doggy in his avatar? $4.99 says Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears will be the greatest show on grass, on that Bermuda grass.
Let's go, Brandon.
That's right.
And the brand new Arlington Heights grass.
Can we see the?
Can we make a bet on that now?
The jersey.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this now. So this was I got tagged in this at the graphic god _.
Rise and shine, graphic god.
Well, this is pretty sweet. Regardless,
he looks awesome.
Shout out to the Photoshop skills to begin with.
What does that jersey look like college-wise? Who is that?
I mean, it just looks like the Bears jersey.
It looks
Auburn.
like it's
Auburn,
literally
right?
a Bears jersey, though.
But yes, Auburn.
I understand, but doesn't it look like Auburn?
Well, with the stripes.
With the helmet, yes.
I don't like the stripes.
White helmet.
I don't like the Bears logo on the side of the helmet.
Okay. I would prefer. I like this better than the orange helmet.
For those listening to the podcast real quick, this is the polar bear concept where it's white jersey, white helmet, and it's got that actual bear logo on the side of the helmet with the
Rather than the C.
blue, white, orange, white, blue stripe.
Which is something I have suggested. And let me say this. One of the things I appreciate most about George McCaskey is he is like a uniform geek. He takes a lot of pride in the Bears uniforms, which he should. They're classic. The Bears C is iconic. And he'll talk to you about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I have pitched this to him before where I've said, your alternate helmet, get the Bear logo on it. It would be cool. It would be cool. And and my understanding is he thinks a lot like you, Kevin. He is
Quick pause. Hoge flex. He told George to put the bear on the helmet.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Keep going.
Yeah. And I got told no, basically.
Come on.
No, it was a fun conversation. And I'll shout out to Pat Finley, too, because Pat and I always talk about uniforms. And he geeks out about it, too. But the reality is that George is not a big fan of the big logos on helmets. And a lot of them, think about the Tampa Bay Bucks uniform. I actually think that one's too big. I don't know why that needs to be that big. And he sees all these college uniforms. Northwestern does it with the big Wildcat alternate helmet that they have, which is not my favorite. I like the classic N.
Final four.
I just think that there's a small section of NFL teams that you just have to go very traditional and old school. Bears, Packers, Giants.
When they had the Ditka game back in the day and they did the leather helmet look, did you like that? When it was just colors.
Which one?
Wasn't there just
where they
stripes?
had
Yeah, 1940s look.
I like the throwbacks they have now, even though I hate the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, I know it's different than the winged helmet, but I like that because it's old school and it's a throwback.
I like those. I don't have a problem with those.
Yeah,
I was not a fan of the orange helmets.
I liked them.
I don't like the orange jerseys.
Have that around here?
It's behind you.
Oh, it's behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I don't
right
like
there.
the orange helmets. I don't like the orange jerseys. I would much rather just kind of go traditional the entire time.
Okay.
How do you like when the Sox and Cubs go a little bit more progressive with their concepts?
I mean, the South Side jerseys have been a huge hit. I'm actually not particularly the biggest fan of them. Does it not fit your big head?
No, there's something.
Well, it's not a real helmet.
It's not a real helmet, apparently. But I think this helmet's sweet.
I mean, it's
you
real.
don't like this helmet, really?
I don't
I like it as set decoration.
It's a giant pumpkin.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's the same thing. I'm not a fan of the Badgers' red helmets, and I have one in my background at home.
With Bucky on the side?
No, just with the W. I've only worn them a few times. Yeah, I just think if you're gonna go alternate, if we can go back to that picture, the bear on that helmet is not huge. It's not like it's oversized.
I think that thing's awesome.
That helmet's awesome. Good job by Graphic God there.
Maybe it's the stripes I don't like.
Maybe. I don't mind the stripes, though. Matt Nagy loved the stripes. I think that's a better look for one game than the orange on orange. It just is. The orange on orange was too much.
What about all white
What?
and a blue C? Would you like that?
No.
I could go for.
I think that would work better.
Remember they had the white C a few years ago? They had the same blue helmets with a white C.
Yeah.
Because that was also what, I don't know, 40s they had that look or something, or 50s at one point.
Why is Kevin Fishbane flexing on me in the chat saying the least surprising thing that I've heard in my time listening to CHGO is that Carm likes the orange helmets? Why is that? I don't.
Oh, Fishbane, that's amazing.
It's a good Fishbane drop in those. We're talking about Wildcats Final Four with Boo Booey coming back and Chase Audige about to come back.
We were not talking about that.
I was in my head.
Okay, you were doing a separate show.
You mentioned the Cats. I went right to Final Four. Come on, Kev. We're going to be there, baby. What's wrong? But I don't like, what is this, a meathead take that I like the orange helmet?
It's a Carm take.
It's a Carm
What
take.
does Kevin think about the orange helmet?
Yeah, what does
He's being quiet
the
about it.
Fishbane think about the orange
No, I'm talking
helmet?
about
me?
Kevin
The
Kaduk.
guy on set.
I don't like the orange helmets or the orange jerseys.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't.
I don't
But I
mind
do
them
like the color
separately.
orange,
I
which
don't
is
like them
weird.
together. It's too much
Yeah.
orange.
I do like that you're a traditionalist because in general, like, whatever. Give me the Cubs pinstripe, white, old school, down the middle.
Yeah. I like the Southside jerseys. I'm not a huge fan of the Wrigleyville jerseys. They say Wrigleyville on them, right?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Do you know the Bears actually?
I love the '83 White Sox jerseys. Herb was tweeting about that the other day. He doesn't like it. You have to have a conversation with Herb to understand that one.
I agree with Herb. I mean, I think the Sunday '83 thing is a little played out. You've got a rich jersey tradition with the White Sox. Change it up.
But the '83 Sox, man, winning ugly.
I think those are the best. You know which ones I want them to? I want them to go to '89.
Those are great.
Those are great. Those should be alternate. Do you know the Bears actually sell white Bears helmets on their
There you go.
actual shop?
It does say
look
65% off clearance on there.
Well, that's also a mini one. There's one signed by Dick Butkus that costs like $100. I don't know.
Doug Van Doren says, for me, the monsters of the Midway should not look like they just escaped from a creamsicle factory. Grumble, grumble.
Is that in reference to the orange ones?
That is the orange, yes. That would be
Yeah,
a creamsicle. Delicious, delicious
I mean,
treat.
if you wear all white, you look like ice cream men.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. White on white's pretty fresh.
I agree. But that's the thing, like, let's not be old man on the lawn thing here. Like, where's, like,
The all white's a throwback to like Gale Sayers, which is cool. So I do like that. But
I was at Marshall's yesterday looking to buy a scorebook for our team because I wanted to be the ultra prepared manager. They didn't
Is
have
that
one.
where Marshall's is where you'd go to find a
Well, I
scorebook?
went to Dick's Sporting Goods, but they close at 8.
Okay.
And I was in the south, so I walked before I headed back to Whole Foods where I had parked my car illegally. I figured I would stop at the Marshalls and see if there was a scorebook. And when I didn't find a scorebook, but I did find a 91 Dennis Rodman blue pinstripe Bulls jersey for $35 that
Blue.
looked pretty damn real. And I thought about buying it, but like I'm not really a Rodman guy. I'm more of a Horace Grant guy, so I didn't buy it. But then there was a 23.
You have to be one or the other?
Yes, in my mind you do because I'm a lunatic and that matters to me.
got to
there
be
was
a Luke Longley or a Bill Cartwright.
No, but that's different. There was just something about Rodman that was just like bandwagony to me. That
John Paxson or Ron Harper, like
Ron Harper, take me back.
Who Nick still does not know.
Blue pinstripes? That's what
It was a cool looking jersey. I think I might buy it. I
you
seriously
got to be a
just to
Will
wear it on
Purdue
here.
or a Bill Wennington guy.
Chat, should I get the Rodman jersey and wear it tomorrow?
I mean, you should
So-
get it for us, for Big Dave, for
And
Matt
then, and then you probably
Okay.
got to softball and they handed you.
for Victor
Did they give you a
Wembanyama.
scorebook there?
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
By the way, if
Yeah.
you were really committed as a softball captain, you would get the CHGO softball team on the Game Changer app, and then that way we could follow along as the games are happening.
So you can watch the box score? Is that what Game Changer does?
Yeah.
Yes, you get score updates. And then when parents can't go to games, they can see what their kids are doing.
Would you actually
And
watch
then it
that?
keeps, but more importantly, it keeps track of stats the whole season.
Well, it's just hard to-
so
it's hard
3
to
weeks
do-
from now, when
yeah.
Herb's like, "Well, I'm a batting ninth," you could be like, "Dude, you're not carrying your weight."
I batted Herb at the bottom last night, and I was dead ass wrong. Herb was our best hitter last night.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a terrible lineup and you
I-
lost because of you.
Yeah, both on the field and my lineup, and perhaps put some people in the wrong positions. But look, this is, Kev put me out there.
You could manage the White Sox.
I needed to.
I do want to talk about softball here.
Okay.
I do. Okay, we gotta.
Okay.
There was a super chat we need to address. You have a read here too.
Yeah, why don't we do the read, Kev?
Oh, okay. Take on the Sun with gear built to last. Would have been hard last night because it was a 9 p.m. start for softball, so no sunglasses last night.
No sunglasses.
The 7 o'clock start. Our friends at Shady Rays have us at CHGO Softball covered for the warm weather ahead. Premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company. Offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. I was sporting them down in Florida over the weekend.
There you go.
Looking great. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If I lost or broke that pair down in Florida, they told us they would have sent me a brand new pair. Now, thankfully, they didn't have to do that, but that insurance was there. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofits across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact, from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. No risk when you shop. The Shady Rays team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season just in time for 80-degree days like today. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of Polaroid sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Shady Rays. I love you, Shady Rays. By the way, my guy Jay Lee bought 3 pairs and he loves them.
Nice.
Gave one to his kid who's going up to Camp North Star, which is run by Andy Schlensky. Hashtag Jews in Camp. My guy.
Is that an actual hashtag?
Shady Rays is going to camp.
Do you have any Russian philosophy you want to share with us on today's show?
Vlad Dagopolov. That's so my guy.
Most random.
Here's that super chat.
Yeah.
I can't
Real
believe
quick
it.
for the super chat. There has not been a more random moment in CHGO's brief history than what you did yesterday on that show. Nothing else has been more out of place in any show that we've ever had than what you did yesterday.
I completely agree, and I minorly apologize for it, but I don't apologize at all. Vlad Dagopolov deserved
How do you spell that?
D-O-G-O.
I don't think that was the correct question.
Vlad Dagopolov is the man.
All right, $4.99 from After Hours Luke. Can we have the Chase Young conversation? What do you think of a potential trade, and would it be good process to make a trade for Young? We have had the Chase Young conversation. I'm sure we're going to have it a million more times because people keep bringing this up. I appreciate the question, but my answer is not going to change on this. If Chase Young is healthy, and if he has no issues off the field or anything like that, it makes 0 sense for Washington to trade him because they would like to know if he's still really good at football like he used to be. If they're willing to trade him, that is a giant red flag because either he's not healthy or there's something else going on there, and in that case, it doesn't make sense for the Bears to trade for him.
There's a Twitter feed called NFL Notifications that's got 11,000 followers, which is not 110,000 followers, which is a count that you would believe around this stuff. It said the Bears have started to make calls to both free agents and other teams in the hopes of acquiring an edge rusher. GM Ryan Poles really values the insight of quarterback Justin Fields, who is said to be, quote, pounding the table for Chase Young, which was maybe the most ridiculous thing that I read on Twitter yesterday.
Why would you even read it then?
Because I was entertained by it. Can you imagine Justin Fields pounding on any table? We need Chase Young. That's maybe the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I need Chase Young. How could you tweet that? Don't
Well,
you like if you're
it's
going to be like
probably-
a fake account that's got fake news? At least try to come up with a fake storyline that makes fake sense.
But if it's parody, then who cares?
Was it parody?
I don't know.
Was it parody?
That-
I don't. maybe
Gary
I'm
is
missing
saying
something.
it's a fake account.
This is not real.
It's just-
Clearly not.
I
mean, it's just
fell for clickbait
dumb.
yesterday.
There's literally a tweet that says former NFL wide receiver Brandon Marshall has said if Rodgers asks, he will come back to the Jets as a tight end.
Oops. Apparently, I shouldn't have believed NFL notifications. So
You
that's
just pulled a brag.
So this is
You just bragged it.
This is, no. I didn't brag it because
You
Braggs
bragged it.
thought that David Montgomery was on
As
this.
Matt Nagy says in our chat, who makes fake accounts?
Nagy, you're great.
So I fell for clickbait yesterday morning. I think a lot of other Bears fans did. It was something like, we had no idea how serious the character concerns with Darnell Wright were. So I clicked through, and the story was about, Darnell Wright put on 20 pounds during the pandemic. And I said, if putting on weight during the pandemic is character concerns, a whole lot of us have character concerns. Because you can't tag Darnell Wright and say, you put on 20 pounds during a world-altering pandemic where you just had to sit and do nothing. A 20-year-old kid? Who cares?
That's almost as absurd of what I just did.
Absolutely.
Not quite, but
All right. You're allowed to have 3.5 minutes to talk softball. Which, by the way, is
only
all
3.5.
that this guy has thought about all morning.
Well, Kevin wants to talk about this, so I don't know what you want to know.
Well, okay, so the takeaway here is that the CHGO softball team had their opener last night.
Yep.
I was unable to make it.
Yep.
Carm is acting manager. I'm kind of the Kenny Williams of the whole operation. Which
sounds
is
like
not
a great
great.
organization.
We're doomed.
Not great. We didn't have a great record last year, so I'm actually probably Tony La Russa. And after this result last night, it looks like you're Pedro Grifol.
Well, you know what you actually just got me to is like, because we were having a conversation a little bit about like who's good and who's not good and who's going to play where, and I had very strong feelings about it, and so I'm almost kind of like Art Howe in Moneyball, and you're and you're Pitt.
Well,
My job is to put the players on the field that you gave me and put them in the best positions to win. And
so you should have looked at Herb and said, "We're not selling jeans here. You're batting in the third spot."
Right. Well, you should have looked at your manager and realized that somebody should have told me that Herb could hit. Nobody
Herb wasn't out there a lot last year. So.
Nobody told me. You'd think that somebody would be like, "Hey, by the way, Herb's a good hitter."
So you're going to find this out that the problem with our softball team is that our availability shifts because of what we do here.
You guys have been talking about this, and specifically Carm taking over, probably since January. I want to say it's the first time it came up. You're telling me that in all that time, you never asked who was good at what?
I did.
Now, how'd you not know Herb could hit?
Because nobody said anything.
That means you didn't ask. You're saying that you asked and no one said that.
I walked around this office and asked people who can do what, where can you play. You would think that somebody would give a scouting report and say like, hey, one of your best hitters is Herb, and don't bat him 11th. But I did.
I think there should have been. I think there
10th.
should have been some tryouts. There
But
should have been some evaluation period.
everybody, like, first of all, like, message all the recreational athletes up. Don't ever complain about where you're hitting in the order. And everybody batted the same amount of times last night, so everybody got the same at bats. We literally went through the order 4 times, and everybody went over 3 times, and I went over 3, which was embarrassing. But we're going. Things that I was surprised about last night. That league is competitive. There is fairly intense out there. We are going to, Kevin. We're going to be a competitive softball team. I just
sounds like you were in the game last night.
we were right there. We just we gave up a bunch of extra outs and then 1 grand slam, and we didn't hit enough. But we will.
So you're the White Sox.
Kind of, sort of.
I feel like Hoge is the Kelly Leak of this, and you have to figure out some way to get him out on the field. You got to be the Buttermaker. Would he be the Kelly Leak or the Amanda Wurlitzer?
I am very much ready for Hoge to join us at
You
any
bad news
time.
Bears
I'll tell
fan?
you exactly how. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. That reference is over your head.
It was going over my head there. I've actually that's on a list of movies I've never actually seen. That
Oh, you need to
definitely
watch
should
it.
have. I know.
Bad News Bears is amazing.
Yeah, don't look at me, Mister. I haven't seen Air.
Okay, but I think objectively, and nobody ever gives it credit, Bad News Bears is maybe the original Bad News Bears is maybe the greatest sports movie of all time.
I agree.
It is so unbelievably good. If you look at the depth and the storyline and just the insanity of the whole thing, it is a phenomenal performance.
Can we spoil the ending on a 50-year-old movie?
Sure.
And they don't win in the end. That's what makes it great.
No, but they all get drunk with a bunch of 10-year-olds. It's incredible. Buttermaker is one of the greatest characters of all time. Kelly Leak is baseball god. And
Tanner Boyle.
Tanner is,
Shout out to Chico's Bail Bonds. Are they our sponsor yet?
I mean, Chico's Bail Bonds. That's the sponsor of the baseball team.
That should be your softball sponsor.
Yeah.
We've run out of time of softball talk.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
You guys went across allotment.
We're disappointed though. Congratulations to Axios and my former radio teammate Justin Kaufman and whatever ringer they brought out last night that hit that grand slam that definitely doesn't work for Axios, but that's okay.
Whoa! If you're gonna make accusations like that, then we need to go through our lineup.
As far as I know, Axios Chicago is only 2 employees, Justin and Monica. So they have at
the whole
least
softball team.
No, you're 100% right. I should not have just said what I said because we had half of our team works here and half of our team didn't because that's how many people wanted to play from here last night.
Well, if you'd like me to play, you can call Vernon Hills Community Baseball and have the entire Monday night schedule for the next 2 months move to a different day.
CHGO Bears Bonds. That's what I.
What if Carm takes over the Vernon Hills Little League team and you switch spots?
I wouldn't do that to my son. All right, we're out of here.
Have a great day.
We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, no, tomorrow's Wednesday.
Is that?
Greg Braggs will be here in studio on a Wednesday. Why doesn't Braggs play softball?
No, he owes me lunch, and I'm going to pay off my bet with you tomorrow, so we're all paying off bets tomorrow.
Ooh.
So there will be bourbon on set tomorrow.
Nice.
But
upgrade.
We're upgrading tomorrow. But his buddy Zach Eady is working out at one of the local health clubs. We're going to try to go run into him after the show and pay up the lunch. So anybody else
Why don't
wants
you
to
get Zach on the show?
Well, that's maybe we'll try.
Okay.
Rise and shine, Zach Eady.
See the bottom of Zach Eady's feet.
I will 1,000% wear my Fairleigh Dickinson shirt on the day Zach Eady's here. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow at noon. I'm sure it'll be a fun one.
See Hoge get flattened.
Love you, chat.